May peace be with you.
And also with you.
It's so good to have you here. So good to have you here online. Mom and Dad, again, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody online. Happy Mother's Day to the people here at the piano, people in the balcony. Happy Mother's Day to the people on the way back preparing the tables. Yes, this is a beautiful day to be here, and I'm so glad that we can say this. Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day. So later on in our prayers, we will have a chance to lift up flowers only for people who have had mothers or who want to honor mothers. Plus, Happy New Member Sunday. Welcome Kashka and Chip and Diana. Yes, this is a great day. This is a great day. This is a great day. So we have a special message today for Diana, Kashka, and Chip. And my message is this: we will not leave you orphaned. We will not leave you orphaned. Our reading today, read for us by David, is about Jesus reassuring his followers, I will not leave you orphaned. I will not leave you orphaned. He was looking ahead at the loss to come. He knew that he was going to be betrayed, that the state would kill him, that the disciples and followers would lose their beloved leader, and he wanted to reassure them, don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Don't lose confidence in the way I'm leading you, the way of life and light. I will not leave you orphaned, no matter what. No matter what. Jesus says, I will give an advocate to leave with you. The Greek word here is parakitos. Parakitos, be translated as counselor, advocate, the one who's alongside of us, defending us. Even though it looks like Jesus is gone, someone's going to be in our corner. He's sending the advocate. Our defense attorney, someone who's going to stand up on our behalf, protect us against the wrongs and injustices that are done to us. I will not leave you orphaned. When I hear these words, I immediately think about those mothers put in impossible situations, just impossible situations, protecting their babies, their children, against all odds. There's a scene from the Joy Luck Club, a book by Amy Tan, later made into a movie, that still makes me cry. Have you heard of that book before? Some people have. Good. Joy Luck Club. And the mother in one of the stories, Su Yan, is married to an officer in the Chinese Nationalist Army, and the Kuomintang, and the Chinese Nationalist Army is fighting against overwhelming odds. They're fighting against the invading Japanese army, the rising Chinese Communist army. It's all lost. Her husband is lost in battle. She knows that the families of those that are lost, their life is forfeit. They will be hunted down. She has twin babies, and maybe that struck me because I have twin babies. They're still babies, right? They're always babies. And she put her twin babies into a wheelbarrow, and in the chaos of war, there's famine, the bombs are screaming back and forth. She has her two babies in a wheelbarrow, and she's having to drop her possessions and just keep running. She gets the news of her family is lost, but she still has the twin babies, and she's dying of hunger. She's dying of hunger. And she knows she cannot care for her children any longer. And she knows that, someone will not just take them from her. So what she does is she wraps them up in the most beautiful silk cloth and nestles her twin baby girls at the foot of a tree. And then she barely walks, she crawls over and she hides next to the road. And just hopes and she leaves a note with them too. And eventually a farmer and his wife come along, and they see these two baby girls that are just all alone. And they read the note, the mother has died, please care for us. And they look around, and they read the note, and they talk, they look around, and then they pick up the baby girls, and they walk. And the mother, in her final act of love, was acting out, I will not leave you orphaned. I will take care of you no matter what. And she was trusting that this farmer and his wife would take care of her baby girls. And it turns out that somehow she did not die, but the mother, Yang, and she was desperately looking for her girls, couldn't find them. She was swept away, ended up in San Francisco after the war, but it was now communist China. She could not go back. The wall was up, and she started to raise her own family, had a daughter, and when the daughter became an adult, as the communist China was opening to the world, what was that? It was under Nixon and 72. She knew she could go back, but at this point she was dying. So before she died, she told her daughter, go look for your sisters. And her daughter said, I have sisters? But so she went back into China, and against impossible odds, found her twin sisters have been cared for. I will not leave you orphaned. And they reunited and celebrated life and the love of their mother. This book is based on a true story. I looked it up, and of this terrible separation between a mother and her daughters. It's a hard story. And if you think about it, the words that Jesus has for us today, this is another hard story. Jesus just doesn't stop at the words, I love you, but he spells it out. What does that love mean? What does that love mean? Jared Alonso, writing in the Christian Century, says he knows a couple that wants to spell things out for each other. Often a couple might say, I love you, and the other one says, what does the other one say?
I love you too.
I love you too, yes, I love you too, and that's what you expect to hear. But this couple, when they say, I love you, they'll say, why? Or, I love you, and tell me how. Tell me how. It's hard. That's hard, right? Those are hard. And that's just what Jesus is doing here. Jesus is spelling out the ways that Jesus loves us. Parakitos. I'm your advocate. I'm your defender. I will not leave you orphaned. Spelling out all the ways, the way that couple is. And maybe you practice that with someone you love. Well, how do you love me? How do you love me? And here we are, Mother's Day 2023, experiencing how Jesus and the agents of Jesus are still spelling it out for us. Pam and Emily, Harry, Kate, Fiona, Tom, Patricia, Priscilla, Carla, and so many others, making sandwiches for the outdoor church that was abandoned at the start of the pandemic. Parakitos, advocate, defender, I will not leave you orphaned. Cynthia and John, Susan, Nancy, Holly, Kay, Marilyn, and others, preparing home-cooked meals every month for how many years? The last 28 years from this congregation for the food kitchen. Yes, for the food kitchen over in Waltham. Parakitos, advocate, defender. I will not leave you orphaned. I will not leave you orphaned. Carolyn, our own Carolyn, in the class by herself, pouring hours of care and love into the most amazing. Have you ever received a card from Carolyn? Oh my goodness. When you get that card, you know, I am loved. I am loved. The amazing effort she puts into those cards. Parakeetos, advocate, defender. I will not leave you orphaned. You know that when you get a card from Carolyn. And Josh and Fiona, Sydney, helped by Hank and others, collecting donations for the unhoused, walking with our homeless partners in Boston, Common Cathedral, becoming friends with the community of Common Cathedral. For people on the streets, we are saying, Parakeetos, advocate, defender, we will not leave you orphaned. And then there is Wendy. Already, when she was battling pancreatic cancer, she decided this is the time to fight for ONA. To open a conversation in our church about becoming truly open and affirming to all who identify as LGBTQ and more. Now, as we formed a group, we started talking to the national ONA leaders. They said, are you crazy? In the middle of a global pandemic? Starting this conversation, they warned us away from even beginning the conversation. With Wendy, we kept going. And as the national leaders, as we shared with them, they said, they told us to delay the conversation. We shared there was some conflict going on in the congregation, and they said, there's already conflict, you're gonna fail. Are you guys crazy? Are you crazy? With Wendy, we kept going. And after a respectful process with lots of stories, lots of sharing, everyone's voice was heard. We know that, right? Everyone's voice was heard many times. We held a vote last year with less than 5% voting against it. And in this overwhelmingly positive conversation for our community, taking along all the voices together, we voted to, in the words of our ONA covenant that I quote now, to welcome and affirm people of every race, every ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, age, faith background, ability, and economic circumstance to join us in our faith journey. In other words, we will not leave you orphaned. We will not leave you orphaned. With Wendy now in hospice care, we are heartbroken. With Wendy now in hospice care, so many people are asking, how can we help? What can we do? What can we do? I think the best thing I did last week is what I suggested, a flavor of popsicle for her, and to bring her comfort. What can we do? And this past week, I'm hearing that so many people want to make a gift in our honor, or what can we do? They're collecting money. Wendy's heart, I should share with you, is with our welcome circles. The Hope Welcome Circle works locally to resettle Ukrainian refugees. The Amigos Welcome Circle works locally to resettle Central American refugees and those in distress. Our church is now collecting for these welcome circles. We have members from our church that are sitting in the groups that are helping to organize and to work, hand in hand with these refugees. So when people ask Wendy, where's your heart? How can we help you? She says, you can help me by helping these welcome circles. You can honor me by honoring these circles of welcome. Do not forget these people, Wendy is saying. Do not let them be orphaned, cut off, and forgotten. Jesus says, do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Even though I'm leaving you, I am giving you a counselor to always walk with you. Let me spell it out for you. Paraketos, advocate, defender. I will not leave you orphaned. Thanks be to God for sending us so many faithful people who are the hands and feet and heads and hearts of the Paraketos, advocate, defender. Thanks be to God.